Good morning, students. You are all welcome to the class 10 English. And we are going to read the first chapter of your textbook, The First Flight. And the chapter is A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes. Students, when you listen about a person who writes a letter to God, how do you feel? You must be thinking that the man must be a firm believer of God. He must have immense faith in God, isn't it? But at the same time, we have a number of questions in our mind while we think about a man who writes a letter to God. And in this chapter, we are going to read that who is the man, what about his features, and why does he write a letter to God? We are going to discuss about this thing. Students, it is about a man who was a farmer, very hardworking, innocent, simple. He has a cornfield that was stretching far and wide, and it looked green with the yellow flowers on it. The man Linko was living on the top of a low-lying hill from where his field of corn was clearly visible. He was living with his family very happily and was very happy to find his field of corn that was stretching far and wide and was giving a very green look. He somehow felt that in order to have a good harvest this year, he was in need of a downpour. He said this thing to his wife that his field of corn was in need of a downpour, and to his surprise, in the evening, while he was going to take the dinner, he felt the drops of rain had already started. The rain had already started. Lenka was very surprised and was very happy at the same time. He came out of it. His joy knew no bounds. He felt the bigger drops of rain, smaller drops of rain, and he compared the bigger drops of rain as the 10 cents and the smaller drops of rain 5 cents. He was very happy. It was not the water that was falling, rather, it was the money in the form of water that was falling. So each and every drops of water was so important to Lenko. And Lenko's children were also, they came out of their house and started playing with the rain. Lenko was very happy now, and he was very sure that this year he was going to get a good harvest. But what happened? The rain did not stop. It continued, followed by hailstones. Now, Lenko wanted the rain to stop, but the rain was soon followed by hailstones and it did not stop and it continued for hours. As a result, Lenko's cornfield was filled up with hailstones, and that now gave the look of the salt as if covering the whole field. Lenko now was very disappointed. He was very sad now, finding his field of corn covered with hailstones. The field, which was giving a green look a while ago, was now giving white look. Linko felt that he was not going to get even a single grain of corn this time. He felt absolutely helpless. He said this thing to his wife also, that it will be too difficult for them to spend their time because they were not going to get even a single uh, grains of corn this time. And therefore, Lenko thought of writing a letter to God explaining his problems, Lenko wrote a letter now. He wrote to God in his letter that God, it is because of the hailstones I'm not going to get even a single grains of corn this time, and I have to feed my family. I have nothing to feed my family. I have to spend every hungry days this time. The days of hunger, it will be too difficult for him, and therefore he wrote a letter. In his letter he mentioned that God, please send me 100 pesos so that I'll be able to feed my family and to sow the seeds in the field the next season. And for that, I am in need of 100 pesos. He wrote this letter, closed it, and on the address side he wrote to God and put the letter in the mailbox. The postman came, brought out the letter, read it. On the letter it was written to God. He brought this letter to the postmaster. The postmaster looked also to the letter and was very much impressed with the firm faith this man was having upon God. Sometimes he thought that it would have been better if he had such faith upon God. And he thought of helping this man with some money. He requested the employees of the post office to contribute something so that the man could be helped. And the man in the post office also agreed to him. Postmaster himself contributed something from the part of his salary also. And altogether, he was able to collect 70 pesos. And the postmaster thought of sending this money to this man Lenko so that he could be helped somehow. And that was done. The postmaster, being a man of human nature, helped Lenko and he sent the money. Lenko now received the envelope of money. He brought out the money and counted and found that it was 70 pesos. He had asked 100 pesos to God, but the God had sent him only 70 pesos. He thought, what about the rest of the money? Where did it go? He thought also that the man in the post office could have done something wrong. Those men could have been involved in some kinds of embezzlement. And therefore, instead of expressing his gratitude to God for receiving the money, for getting the money, he again started writing a letter to God, complaining that God, I had asked you 100 pesos, but you only sent me 70 pesos. How is it possible? You can make no mistakes, but the mistakes has been committed by the people in the post office. So please God, you send me the rest 30 pesos. But this time while you send the money, please keep it in mind not to send the money through the post office because the man in the post office are a bunch of crook and you must not send the money through post. Rather, you send the money directly. So this is what Lenko did after receiving the money from a source. What did he do? He did not express his gratitude. Rather, again, he started complaining to God that what he did not have this time, that is about the 30 pesos. So, students, what do you think about this man? The man, no doubt, was a simple, innocent, having firm faith upon God, farmer. But then, Do you think that the man Linko had a balanced characteristics, a balanced social behavior? Do you accept Linko's behavior in the society? What kinds of changes do you want that Linko should undergo? And the next question is this, that the postmaster and the other employees of the post office, those who had helped him in this time of trouble and had uh, contributed 70 pesos in total, what would have been their feelings towards Lenko this time when he wrote another letter to God? Now, students, it is up to you to think. And again, we shall have the question and answer discussion of this chapter, and we shall discuss it in our next class. Till then, you go through this chapter by yourself to have a proper understanding of this chapter. And if you have any doubts, then that also will be taken up in our next class. Thank you.